It just occurred to me before even pressing the record button that school's going to be starting in about 2 weeks from now. Yeah, at least in my area. I mean, school's already started in places down south, like in Tennessee or whatever. Actually, before I get into any of that, let's do my little act of kindness. Happy Tuesday, everybody. So, what's my low? What is my low? My low is that even though I clearly got like 9 hours of sleep, I was in bed for 9 hours, I'll say that. I'm still feeling kind of tired. My high is I got to talk to my mom and dad yesterday. That was really nice. And my act of kindness was I held the door for some people. Yeah, I know it's a little cliche for me to say I held the door for people, but you know what? If I do that, that's an act of kindness. It is. So, let's get into the I was going to talk about. I've said this before in the past, but growing up, I always used to dislike the month of August. I wouldn't go so far as say outright hated it, as there were some good things to look forward to in August, like back then my grandmother's birthday, God rest her soul. But after 4th of July, things just kind of seemed like quiet. And you had to go out and make your own fun if you wanted to do anything. Which isn't a bad thing. I mean, for example, back when my grandfather was still alive, God rest his soul, it would always be like the first week of August. That's when we would go out to his cottage at the lake and be up there for about a week. And that was awesome. Come to think of it, you know what? I don't think I can recall. Because here's the thing. Because my family on my dad's side is a cottage, and obviously my grandfather on my mom's side had a cottage. So essentially, we had 2 cottages. When my grandfather tore down his original cottage to rebuild it to live up there year round, I don't think I can recall an entire week where we actually stayed at that place. You know, I take that back. We did. I think we did like once ever. And then after that, when the entire family came up, like we'd stay at my dad's family's cottage, and we would go visit my grandfather's cottage during the day. Come to think of it, one of the most exciting weeks I had, at least for me, was it was the summer before my senior year of college. And my workout for the day was to quite literally run from, Cutler's cottage to my grandfather's cottage, which was about 12 miles. It was pretty sick, actually. Here's the thing, and this is why I've always really had a dislike for running up Echuca Lake. Because if you're running on the east side, it's essentially nothing but highway. I believe it's 54 or 54. I think it's 54 is the highway on the east side of Echuca Lake, but please correct me if I'm wrong. And it always felt like, since it's essentially a giant straight line, unfortunately, when you run on that sort of thing, it always feels as if like you're running on a hamster wheel. But funny enough, as soon as I got to Hammondsport, it didn't really feel all that long. Oh, then again, because Cutler's Cottage is 8 miles to Hammondsport, and my grandfather's cottage was just a little, roughly around 3 miles from Hammondsport. So, yeah, for like almost 12 miles altogether. And I'm trying to think. I mean, the west side of Keuka Lake is definitely more windy and twists and turns. So I guess that's a little bit more exciting to do in that sense. It's definitely something that, I mean, I can't really do it anymore because that cottage no longer belongs to my grandfather because, you know, he passed away. Yeah, running up Keuka Lake is just kind of like, it's hard if you feel like you don't like running in a straight line, you know? So that stinks. Because the summer before my senior year of college, I did that like 5 times. And here's the thing, the first time I did, I forgot my iPod, so I got to borrow my brother's, and he only had like one song on there, which was Till I Collapse by Eminem, which was great, but I can't listen to that for 12 miles. So around the time I got my iPod back, like Tuesday through Friday, I was going off. It was really great too because I remember to bring some clean clothes that are at my grandfather's cottage, and after I finished running to it, I would shower, put on those clean clothes, and sleep for a little bit. I got up pretty early to do it too. You gotta remember, this is summer. And during the summer, if you want to go working out outside, you gotta do it when either the sun is setting or the sun is rising. And you really want, personally I think, do it when the sun is rising because it's early in the day, you get it done and over with. That's what you do. I mean, if you know Keuka Lake and you know that those roads, they are essentially surrounded by trees. So shade was pretty abundant if it came to it. But you still never want to put that to risk. You know? But it was a nice, good run at the time. I mean, that's another thing too. If you're training for like a marathon or something up at like either of the Finger Lakes, you need to have someone dedicated to giving you water every couple miles and to be your ride home when you finish whatever your distance is, provided that you don't have a specific place to stop at. That's why, to this day, I really thank my mom for the first and only time I've ever done a 20-mile taper up at Keuka Lake. Because, like, to run 20 miles up there, I chose to do the west side because, again, the east side feels like you're running on a hamster wheel. So, like, I get from Hammondsport to Branchport, that's only 15 miles. I still had like another 5 to go. It was crazy. I mean, I guess at the time, I probably could have just, because honestly 20 miles is a pretty random area. I think, if I had to guess where specifically I was, I think it might have been like where the road that would lead up to Abandoned Brewing Company is. If I had to make a guess, I can't remember specifically where. Although I have thought about, once upon a time I thought this, running from where the Pleasant Valley Inn is, like just outside of Hammondsport, to that Walgreens that's in Penn Yan. Um, because it's got to be like that's edging on like a whole marathon right there. I think it is. Anyway, sorry, back to what I was talking about. What else did we do in August? Well, here's the thing. I mentioned that my family on my mom's side would visit for the week, but between the fact that it was August, which is already a month I really disliked, and the fact that I only see this family once a year, when they were gone, man, it hurt. Man, did it hurt hard. Like, to this day, I still remember, like, the summer before I was in 5th grade, I had my first nightmare where I was back to school. Really, like, that was, I still remember this very day. That, like, my first nightmare going back to school, which was, I mean, I still can't believe, because here's the thing, up until then, I had never really been worried about going, I dreaded going back to school, but I was never really worried. But then again, 4th grade was kind of rough. Here's the thing, some of this I totally brought myself because I was lazy, but our teacher wasn't really the most warm person ever. Full story. I was in 6th grade and I had to go to the nurse's office. I can't remember why. And there was a 4th grader in the nurse's office as well. Who had the same 4th grade teacher that I had. Again, the one I just mentioned who really wasn't the warmest person ever. And the kid was in the nurse's office because he was faking sick. And he was faking sick because he'd be worried that he'd be yelled at by that teacher. You know what? To this day, it pains me that I wasn't able to give that kid any advice because I knew exactly what he was going through. But I just didn't really know what I could say. I mean, how do you give a kid advice about something that, you know? And here's the thing, like, it was pretty late in the year too. Like, I think it was probably like March, April, so it's not like he had to put up with it for that much longer. But man, that's like the one time I've ever noticed a kid who, for all intents and purposes, was going through the exact same stuff I was going through, and I really had no idea how to help him. I just didn't know how to help him. I mean, if I could do it all over again, I would say, listen, I know this teacher is kind of rough, but I got through it. You know, it's just until 4th grade is over for you. You probably won't even need to see that. I mean, you'll probably see that teacher in passing, but you'll never have to think about her ever again. You know, at least that's what I would have done. I mean, again, for me, it was just the fact that I didn't want to do any work, so she'd yell at me to get busy, which, yeah, I deserved. But, man, I remember, like, you know on the first day of school, when, like, your heart is racing with a whole lot of emotions, but you know for a fact your heart is racing? Up until 4th grade, I know I had that on the first day of school. And after that, things were pretty okay. When I started 4th grade, I had that feeling constantly. Like, really constantly. Like, it was January, and I was still feeling this way. Come to think of it, I can't remember when it stopped either. I mean, granted, as an adult, there's worse and more important things to be worried about. But when you're a kid who doesn't really know what's going to happen, you know, that's that's what it is. Like, that's the stressor. I mean, you know what? I can definitely say this. You know, my ratio of like good teachers to bad teachers is pretty great. Like, I think off the top of my head, I can think of 3 teachers overall that were just horrible, which isn't bad. And you know what? None of them were at St. Mary Mother. Surprisingly, even the 4th grade teacher I just mentioned, you know, not that bad in the grand scheme of things. I think the reason why is because these 3 teachers that I'm thinking of at the moment that I think are the worst, they kind of, well, one specifically really made you feel like garbage. And that's, to this day, I wish I walked out of the room when they, I don't know, anyway. That's a discussion for another day. So I guess with school coming up, I don't really have any advice at the moment. I mean, here's the thing. In a couple weeks, I'll have to do my back to school address, which I do every year. So I guess it really is important I think about what I'm going to say now. I will say this. If you're currently in school already, well, first of all, I hope your time in school is great. I mean, I imagine, you know, schools in Tennessee and down south have already started. College is definitely starting up soon. If you're currently in school, I hope things are going well. And if you want any further advice, you know what? Come here on September 3rd. That should be when the first day of school is. At least in my area. So yeah, my video on September 3rd. That'll be my back to school address. So look forward to that. Hope you all like this video. If you like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow me on social media. As always, I'm very amazing video for all of you guys watching Joe Fernando. Hopefully you have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. Yeah, it's Tuesday. Darn it. Today's Tuesday. And remember, if you guys want to talk to us, we're here to let you always be back. Take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby.